Hello investors, welcome to the channel. This is where I use technical analysis to find possible swing trades. Before we get started, I'd like to make it clear I'm not a financial advisor. Everything I say is for informational, educational, and entertainment purposes. The technical indicators I use are not accurate 100% of the time because fundamentals of companies and macroeconomic factors can drive share price changes differently than what we might expect based on these technical indicators. My goal here is just to bring these companies to your attention so you can decide for yourself whether or not they're good investments for you. So please, if you plan on investing, do your own due diligence before purchasing shares in any company or consult with a financial advisor. With that out of the way, today we are taking a look at Procter & Gamble Company, ticker symbol PG. I feel like this is another major company that really needs no introduction, but I'll give it a minor one anyway. It's a large cap company worth $335 billion. There are simply too many products manufactured by Procter & Gamble for me to list. There are literally dozens, probably hundreds that fall under its umbrella. I read through the list earlier and there are, I can think of off the top of my head, at least a dozen products in my house right now that are manufactured by Procter & Gamble. It's likely that if you're living in any first or second world country, you have multiple items in your house from Procter & Gamble. And here we have the annual chart, and you'll see that it recently suffered a pretty significant pullback. And this was right after they paid out a dividend. And they were re-rated by a couple of rating companies where they reduced the share price target from, I believe it's from 165 down to 155. And of course, if you look at the share price as of yesterday's close, they're at 143. So still nicely below that target number. And if we roll down to the RSI, you'll see it is oversold and rising well right out of that green zone. The stochastics are doing the same. They have bottomed and are beginning to rise again. Volume chart shows quite a bit of red selling lately, as you'd imagine. And of course, we have this giant red candle spike in selling, followed by a green buying day. And the MACD appears to have formed a trough and is beginning to rise towards zero again. And obviously, if you look back on the chart here, that's not a perfect indicator. Here we have another instance just in the last year where it formed a trough, rose back to zero, and then formed another trough before it finally broke out again. So again, take that for what it's worth. But I'll point out one other thing on the chart here. So bear with me. This is certainly not precise, but if we draw a line way across the tops of these peaks here, and this isn't perfect, but it rarely is, but still, you'll see that this ascending line of resistance does seem to have multiple touches. I mean, one, you might count this as two, you might even count this one as two, but we'll just say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and possibly 3 others. That's a pretty strong ascending line there. So it does look like, at least for the last year, Procter & Gamble has been following this upward channel. I'm sorry, I shouldn't call it a channel because the lower portion of the channel isn't nearly as clear, but the top part is. And in case you're not familiar with Procter & Gamble's fundamentals, we can take a very, very high view look at their fundamentals, and everything here is good. As you'd imagine, this is typically ranked in the top 3 best companies to invest in long-term in the world. So we have a debt to equity ratio that is above average, slightly above average, greater than 62% of its peers. Again, with a company like this, that's the least of my concerns here, or the least concerning thing. PE ratio is average, and the gross margin is average. However, operating margin is outstanding, beating out 94%. of its peers. And the return on equity here, again, outstanding, beats out 86% of others in the industry. And growth rate is average. And we have a solid dividend, about double the market average. And it only has a 62% payout ratio, so this is quite secure. Still, these are solid fundamentals, I think. And if we go back to the chart here, this does look like Procter & Gamble is set for an upswing, and it would make this a fine entry point. Note at the very end of the chart here, I'm not sure if you can see it, but we have a green candle as of yesterday indicating perhaps it has turned around. So please let me know what you think in the comments below. And if you got something out of this video, I'd really appreciate it if you hit the like button and subscribe to help out the channel. If you enjoy these brief overviews of companies that might be good swing trades, please leave a comment for the YouTube algorithm. It really helps. Or even if you prefer to tell me that I'm wrong and stupid, you can leave those comments too. Or if you'd like me to take a look at a company of your choosing, using the indicators I present here, then mention that in the comments and I'll try to get to it as soon as I can. That's all for today. Thanks for watching and good luck with all your investments.